Began working in 2004, completed it around 2006 on a consensus. And actually, what it really was just a utopian society that I created in my head. Basically, in the past, when I created it around 2004, is when I began working on an actual vision for planet Earth in the future at the time. And I had to contemplate exactly what sort of society we would be living in, which therefore meant that I had to become empathetic to the whole nature of planet Earth to understand what was really going on in order to change what I thought would be in the future. And so what I ended up with is a digitized society that did have a computer application. The computer stayed on all the time, so it was a living computer of information. So the computer, I'm not going to call it artificial intelligence, I'm just going to say the computer brain of information is on all the time, 24/7. And all that information is accessible and completely transparent to every citizen on planet Earth. So it's an interconnected system, like the internet, except it is combined into the form of one global government, I guess you could say. So let's say there's one world government, in a sense, and you don't have to look at it as a form of government. Look at it as a app, like opening up a social engine app. You can create your own profile page in this system. There's your profile pic. You have full creative choice. You have full transactional freedom within your computer space as well. You can also create groups within the system itself if you want to, and therefore tie in a transaction with it. It doesn't have to be a transaction, it can be a fund. You can create a fund, a donation type fund to collect money. There's also the ability to create hierarchy structures. You can create round table structures around ideas, which basically creates another page. If you're going to create a round table group, you can create a hierarchy group if you want to do something like treasury, president, this type of thing. Then you can create the hierarchy group. And each entities are individual entities in a group, but you can put the page as a collective group and you can call it whatever you want. You can also do transactions, remember that, between groups. So this can be two businesses, two corporations. It can be person to person within the system. Transactions can be person to person, totally transparent. Now, how, yes, you can put the people in the page in the group, but there is also built-in polling grid, polling process built in as well to this computer app system. You can see the complexity of the actual app itself. That's why after the creation of this manifesto, you started to see pieces of these apps starting to get created, like Twitter and Bitcoin and those types of things. GoToMeeting, those concepts originated from this original manifesto of this actual computer system that will, to me, be in the future on how it actually interacts with the world. So yeah, let's go back to the built-in polling process. The built-in polling process is to be able to establish a consensus. So now we're getting into consensus. Consensus is needed in order to come to any conclusion, especially if it's directed over money or an idea. if you're going to use the part of the page that allows you to form groups. Of course, you have your own individual page, which you can collect money as well, and thus your one vote. Your one vote can be in group form. You can also, once again, set up a page for you to collect votes as well. It's a dual system here. So let's go back to the consensus process. Now, let's say on your page, we'll start here. On your personal profile page, when you want to vote and take part in a consensus, then you have the ability to record. All right, with the camera on your phone. So, and you can record your idea, opinion, whatever can be recorded. Okay. Now, the people within the roundtable group, let's say there's 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. All right, each one of you can vote. Each one of you can submit a video. That goes into a polling grid. You can set the time limits. 30 seconds, a minute. Every choice within the roundtable group, every decision when you create one of these, when you create a hierarchy, when you create a system here, you're voting on every structure on the democracy process here. 30 seconds, a minute, whatever. Now, once those videos are submitted, then we have 3 individuals in this group here who have ideas, concepts. So therefore now everyone watches, which is the body, and then they now vote on who they want, or who or whatever it is that they're talking, or whatever it is that they want to reach. There is then the data from that voting displayed back in many forms of data, percentages, charts, this, that, and the other thing. You can do pie charts, so on and so forth. You can do bar graphs, whatever, and you can create the parameters of each voting procedure and parameter as well, of who wins what. You can see how complicated this is. Extremely complicated, but there was no way of actually doing what. I mean, someone tell me. I'm into many things, so this isn't painting, this isn't this is something different. So go to college and create this, become a coder? No, I can create the idea just the way I did just now. The idea now has to be taken from this into reality. Entire governments now can, it's just 3 people. Now let's go back to the world. So now every person in the world is connected to this computer system, and the voting process is the same. So you have a voting pool down here, and anyone can submit their video, but because the information's fed back into the population, then they're the ones voting on the hierarchical structure that they want for any idea that they want. Roundtable or hierarchical, depending on the business or corporation. So the voting is popular vote. It's going to be how many views, how many people watch, how much traffic. And this sort of computer system will allow individuals to be anomalous within this system now. So now you have individuals who can not only talk and put together exactly what they're trying to say, what they're trying to reflect, the information they're receiving, but they can display it to others in such a way that it causes a general traffic, which makes them rise up to the top within this government. the individual would have to, or individuals would have to be so intelligent in a sense that they would be able to assign each other the role necessary, that people are feeding and actually setting the term limits themselves. Everything they're doing is they're constructing themselves that they can recycle. There can be endless terms. If this person can maintain a certain traffic, there can be endless terms. But the dynamics of human beings is such that it's going to fluctuate. These positions are going to fluctuate. But nevertheless, the humans gain control over exact everything in the government. Not to mention that the money is absolutely transparent as well. Because the money and interactions that are going in between these individuals and corporations, the money, which is such a small concept to me. That's why Bitcoin and all this stuff that's happening now is just a small part of the entire system that I created. But the money is transparent because the computer system never sleeps and every human has access to it, unlike the governments now where everything's hidden. You don't have access into bank computers and this sort of stuff. It's not transparent to the public. This is a transparent financial system that has a computer algorithm that allows money transactions to be secured and transparent amongst the people, especially when it comes to government. Of course, you have privacy on an individual-to-individual basis. It's somewhere in the soup of information. When it comes to governmental transparency, whatever gets created to run the government of the people, the republic, the monies will be absolutely transparent on what goes to what goes where, and why. And the people are the one voting the money in the first place, because the system, as you can see, has one vote. You have your own bank, you have your own money, you have your own account that you can move money into this individual here, and these people take their money and move it into this idea. This money then moves into this sector of society who's ran by this person or this group of round table or this hierarchy and group. You see what I'm saying? Extremely complex computer system here. So as me coming up with the idea years ago, the concept was of course back then, how do I get it into the minds of the people so that this idea starts to spread? How did I do that? And of course I believe I did do that. Now you can see that the complexity of the actual computer application itself can be broken down into bits and pieces, and you can actually make subdivision of businesses from this very concept. You can just take this concept and turn it into a business app. So now we're seeing those swarm of the apps, but this system here, the apps in the end will all form one digital system eventually. The apps are almost like a play on it. It's almost like we're building it app by app. And each one is a concept of this final resting government that I predict will be in the future. I just felt that it's an inevitability after all the hours that I went over the concept. I felt like this was one of the inevitabilities of a futuristic society.